point at poor people and be like, poor people bad.
I don't think it is fair to say that it is a garbage place no one should ever be at, because it is just not for me.
Last year it was like 5 minutes long. It was so short.
Yeah, do you ever all the time something that I get on a level of like you've thought of something and you're like, I'm gonna have to continue saying this? What's your favorite national flag?
Favorite national flag, huh?
I'm a fan of Japan's.
Okay, it's simple, but yeah.
Simple, effective, striking. Huge fan. Also, what's the one that's shaped like a triangle? That one's really funny to me.
I actually really hate the triangle one, just because it's not standard flag format, and I'm like, I hate that.
That's why it's amazing.
I don't know. The Japan flag is nice because of its simplicity. I've always loved Germany's flag, though. Just 3 big stripes of strong color that's not used as much in the flag sphere.
Fair. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
They are some of the most popular colors to be used, but they're not like, they're the ones with the big, like, boom right there.
I feel like America's flag is so needlessly complex.
It's not as bad as Australia, they need a new flag. Like, legally, Australia need to change your flag. Sorry. Too much going on.
Yeah, it's awful.
You get like 3 colors, a couple bordering colors, if you're trying, maybe a pattern, but I mean, come on. I feel like China's definitely got a solid flag, but it's very simple as well. Very identifiable.
True.
And it uses a red base. You don't see many flags that are fully red,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it really is striking in that regard, because a lot of flags try and do like equal amounts of colors, whereas, trying to be like, red.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see what you mean about Australia's flag. It's not as offensive to me as the ones that have like. I'm not a fan of flags that have like animals on them. That like I feel like that's like I'm thinking specifically like European flags, and like like when some of them have like what you would see on like a fucking shield or some shit. Like I don't need that. The triangle shaped one is Nepal. That's what it is, and I'm a huge fan. Yeah,
I like a flag that is simple. I feel like if you are a if you're like a province or a state, you're totally allowed to have like an animal or like a weird overly complex design on your thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a special flag. No one gives a shit about that one.
Yeah, you don't have to flag that one at like international places. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I gotta go to the UN with my Pennsylvania flag.
Exactly.
You would be like, I mean, why'd you bring this? And I'd be like, you know what, that's fair. Yeah, a lot of good flags though.
Yeah, I can back that.
Hey Jackson, what's your favorite national flag? Personally, I'm a fan of Tanzania's flag.
About to ask, and then you beat me to it.
You said personally, and I was like, he's just gonna. No, he doesn't. No one wants to. No one cares what I think. Yeah, Tanzania's got a sick flag.
I almost was about to say I hate flags that have green, yellow, and blue, because there's a lot of green, yellow, blue flags that I don't like. But the shades of green and blue
yellow,
here,
blue flag you don't like?
I don't know, dude. There's a lot of flags in, I want to say, the Philippines and in Africa that have that like color combo, and I don't like it.
The Philippines is one country, and Tanzania is in Africa.
Okay, fine. There's a lot of countries in Africa. I just, whatever. There's a lot of countries in Africa that have these color patterns, and I don't like them, but I like how light these ones are.
I just like the Tanzanian colors. I like the way that they're light. I like the shades, and I like the arrangement where they're split down the middle.
It's a good arrangement.
Yeah. Plus, like the line in the center is, it's just a good looking flag.
It honestly is a very good looking flag. There's not enough flags that use light colors. There's a lot of emphasis on dark, strong colors.
Well, most countries are like, I don't want to look weak. Like, bro, no one's not going to go to war with you because your flag is a good color. Damn, we can't take them out in war. Did you see he has a strong red color on his flag? You kidding me? We can't fight that.
It's the same color. It's a similar color palette. It's a lighter blue, but makes me think of the Brazilian flag.
Okay, I can see it.
Like it's the same shade of green, I feel like, or very similar shade of green and a similar shade of yellow.
Have we talked about national anthems before?
National anthems are the worst.
Or have you heard Brazil's?
The fact that
it goes hard.
The fact that we as a society have, at least in America, have normalized chanting a national anthem in the morning, like for schools and shit.
That's the Pledge of Allegiance. You're not thinking of national anthem.
True. Thank you. Take it back. Apologies.
And Brazil's national anthem goes hard.
To be fair, the U.S. is okay. Sorry, I don't know why I thought whatever. It's fine. I'm an idiot. Listen. It is Sunday. It is late at night. It has been a long week. I'm allowed to be an idiot one time, and also all other times. So
okay.
Which song is the freaking national anthem? Is it America the Beautiful?
No, it's.
Are you guys kidding me?
It's fucking.
I know I just listened to
Are
it.
you guys kidding? You guys failed the history
literally the
lessons.
fucking God. What it has?
He's got
Let's say
it.
can you
He's
see?
got
Let's
it.
say can you see?
Maybe that's not
I
the name
just
of the
listened
song.
to a
It's not.
15-minute history lesson about how great and Christian the national anthem is, and I
Sorry,
don't
Single
remember
Ladies.
what it
Got
was.
there. I got there.
Okay,
Took me a
thank
minute.
you. Thank you.
It's. I
Which one
literally
was
just
it?
could not think
No.
of.
Okay,
Couldn't
well, we
think of the
got there
name of the
eventually. Yeah, I mean, the U.S.'s anthem and whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually like the
Brazil's
U.S.'s
goes
anthem.
hard.
It's not bad. I don't like hearing it in front of every baseball game or whatever, but like on like a lyrical and like contextual level, I think it's a pretty solid like. I think it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid, like the source of it all.
You haven't heard Brazil's. That's all I'm saying. Brazil's goes hard.
Brazil does. Fine. I'll pull up Brazil's.
I'm waiting for an anthem with a guitar solo in it.
Noah, can you do me a solid? Can you put Brazil's national anthem under whatever we're talking about?
Can you
No.
do that, Noah?
I don't know that I can do that.
Yeah, I
It
don't
just
see why
goes
you
pretty
couldn't.
hard. Like, it's very fun.
I think it goes too hard, and it will override us all.
That's
I
yeah.
gave it a quick
like
listen,
Brazil's
and
national
it's very orchestral.
anthem. Yeah, it is.
It's
You probably listen to,
aggressively
like, the
orchestral.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to be fair, that was probably the instrumental version. I believe there are lyrics to it, but I don't know. But yeah, no, it is incredibly orchestral. Very good time. You know, it's a good time music. You hear that, and you're like, man, I'm in Brazil, and I'm here to listen to this song. And then you leave because you're like, well, that's all I came to Brazil for. And then everyone's like, why'd you go on vacation to Brazil to listen to a song? And you're like, well, you know what?
It just be
Yeah.
like that
Point.
sometimes.
Maybe I should have thought about that. Poland also has a very good national anthem.
Mhm.
I can't remember what it's called. It's called like Poland, She Still Stands, or something. So it's Poland. Poland is in the name of the song, and it is cited as doing an action.
I'm a huge fan of national anthem. Like I feel like the Brazilian national anthem makes you want to hear it in a minor key instead of a major key
Okay.
because I feel like
So
it would
this
be
time Brazil, but sad.
well, Brazil, but like dark. Not even just sad. Because I feel like it would be
Ooh, evil Brazil.
Yeah, it would be evil Brazil. Is I feel like in the same way. Have you guys ever heard like somebody?
No comments
the,
about the current. Actually,
yeah,
no
right.
comments about the current.
Yeah, we can take a
administration
stand
of
on
Brazil.
that.
I don't like their administration at
No,
all. Their
it's a
president
mess.
is an asshat.
Yeah, it's not good. But I mean, also
person.
same.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pot calling the kettle black. but
Exactly.
sometimes the kettle is real crusty. That's all I'm saying.
Pot calling the kettle. That if I'm remembering correctly, didn't we do something about that? Wasn't that a thing we did? Isn't that our fault?
Not
No,
that
I don't
know of.
think we.
I don't think
I don't
toppled
think
any
we did a
regime.
single thing.
Maybe
I've
think of
never
Chile.
even been to Brazil.
No.
As we all know, Off the Air podcast disrupts governments on a regular basis.
Yes.
Didn't the U.S. do? Wasn't that
We're
the
coming
U.S.
for you,
fault?
Albania.
I feel like we did
I
that.
don't think we. I don't know that we
Chile
ever touched
might be the one
Brazil.
you're thinking of. That was our biggest South
We
American buddy, but I
did.
wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
we
if
did
we had
we did support a coup in like the 60s, so that is a little bit on us. I feel like.
I'll take
we
blame
did.
for it.
Yeah,
no.
1990. The Clinton administration, air quotes, helped them create a new democracy. So it is a little bit
unlucky.
on us.
I mean, I will absolutely talk about the dismantling of South American socialist and communist movements by the imperialists of the West all day long, but I don't think that's what we should talk about today.
I
I would
agree, mostly
agree.
because I don't have
It
enough
is interesting,
information.
though.
I would talk about it.
I would definitely advise looking into it a little bit. It's really, really weird, some of the stuff that went down.
Yeah, I would agree.
And some of the foreign intervention that took place or toppled regimes.
I would be more interested in talking about it if I had the time to like do some research on it. It's one of those things. Like I feel like if I don't want to say anything too incendiary because I don't have the data to back it up in front of me. But it would be one of those topics that I could definitely see us talking about in the future for one reason or another.
So I just wanted to say I like the flag of Tanzania. That's all. It's been 10 minutes though, so welcome back to Off the Air.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
here we
Our
are.
last episode was the live action, right?
It was.
Yes, it's season 3, and we're coming for you, Suzuki Joe.
Yeah, we are episode 1 of season 3.
Yeah. So Suzuki Joe, this is it's a Off the Air podcast. What are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna I don't know, make a rival car dealership, or just like say funny jokes about them occasionally?
I think just funny jokes. I think that's probably where we're going to end up sticking. We might threaten
Yeah, I
more.
think that's more in our wheelhouse.
If we actually manage a successful car dealership that takes him down, by golly. But
You're in support of us doing that though?
why not?
Okay, we're doing it, guys.
You heard it here first, kiddos.
I was going to say what's the worst thing that could happen, but like there's objectively
All of our,
so
we
many
lose a lot of
terrible
money.
things that could happen.
Yeah, that's a
Dan
really.
gets really rich and runs off the deep end.
Why do you think I'd run off the deep end? I mean, I feel like
Well, I don't know.
Dan,
I'd be
you
there
go
already.
off the deep end and you're not even rich yet.
Not
You're already
yet.
willing
You
to
off the
sell
deep
your
end?
soul to get rich. Who knows
That
what you
is
do
true.
once you are rich?
It is true. I am willing to do that.
But
It
anyway,
is known.
good things have happened recently, and I would like to hear about them. Dan,
Especially to those
you've
who
got
wait.
you've got some freaking big stories.
No, actually, nothing happened. My week has been really boring.
Oh, my mistake.
Word.
I must be thinking of something else. Jackson,
thinking
you've
of
got some
Jackson.
freaking big stories.
Yeah, I got a couple tales. I've been playing this racing game the entire time we've been recording.
Nice.
We can hear your
It's
keys.
called- how loud are they?
Loud enough to hear, but that's life. It's
Well,
no louder
listeners-
than Dan typing.
Yeah, and I'm not typing. I'm questing for a gold medal. I'm currently 4th in Tanzania on this track. This is where the flag talk came from because I picked my country as Tanzania because obviously as I said in the Twitter tweet like 5 years ago, I support countries based solely on their flag and how cool it is.
Mm-hmm.
So Tanzania is one of my favorites.
I get that. I get that.
Also, Kilimanjaro, highest point in Africa. It's there.
There you go. There's a lot of things to love there.
Yeah, Tanzanian peaberry is my favorite kind of coffee. It's, in my opinion, it is the matcha of coffee, which is to say that and not in any regards other than the fact that it is the way it is grown. Because like matcha is like special because you can only grow it in like the shade. So and
Really?
it also has to be specifically grown in Japan because of the like soil content and also just like traditional value with that is instilled within like the idea of the coffee or the tea. So matcha is only grown in Japan and has to be grown in the shade. So a lot of times in the shade of Mount Fuji. And Tanzanian peaberry coffee, which is my personal favorite kind of coffee, is only grown in the shades of Mount Kilimanjaro, and it's grown at high altitudes. And the way that it is, it's basically like a malformed coffee bean. So instead of having 2 beans in the pod, it only gets 1, but it gets 1 bean that's like basically a double bean. So it's pretty cool. I'd recommend giving it a try. It's kind of pricey compared to normal coffee. I pay like $12 for half a pound of it, which is, a lot more than the going rate for most coffees, but it's like a premium type of deal. It's a special. Sometimes we splurge on things that we enjoy.
Yeah.
That's all.
I can get behind that. I do that
And
sometimes.
they got a cool flag.
They do got a cool flag. Well, there we go. I think that's all that ended up happening. So we can.
That's it. Yeah. I finally got around to proposing to Michelle, so that was cool. Did that this week.
Are you really about
neat.
to just like drop it in that casually after making such a big deal about nothing having happened?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of planning on it.
That's weak, dude. That's weak.
It's pretty
I
weak.
mean,
Yeah,
I was
usually
gonna
double down
try. I was
not
gonna
say
try
it.
and do shit, but like, I also realized that I'm not willing to put that much effort in, and I do really want to tell the story. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
So
Can't freaking
You made
hold
me
it
talk about
together.
Tanzania for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, man. So let me tell you the
rather
absolute
you
shit
didn't.
show that it was to get to this point. You guys, I have been working on this. I think I got the ring in February. I know I did. I got it at the very beginning of February, right?
Mhm.
For context, if for some reason is somebody watching this later, this is now July 12th. It has been a solid 5 months easily that I've had this ring. I had to, in no particular order, because I don't drive, as I think I've mentioned before. I had to get Dave. I had it shipped to Dave and Brian. They had to then like drug deal, secret agent style, drop it to me while Michelle, myself, Dave, and Brian went out to a bar.
Amazing.
I then had to get it resized, so I had to take Michelle's car, which I then backed into. By the time this episode comes out, I won't be working there, and also like you literally couldn't tell that it happened. I backed into one of our work trucks and busted her back tail light in the process of getting her because I was just distracted because I was like, oh god, I got to get there. I have this much time. I got to do this before so I can get home before she realizes, wow, he took forever to get home. Okay. Plan A was going to be doing it when her parents came up in, I want to say March, maybe April. Plan B was going to be doing it when her sister came up in May or early June. Plan C, I'm gonna. By the time this episode comes out, I will be in South Carolina. We were going down to South Carolina to hang out with our folks this week, and I was going to do it while I was down there. I'm finally, I'm like, okay, Plan C is in progress. I've talked to her parents, I've talked to her sister months and months and months ago about, hey, this is what's going to happen. I'm planning on proposing. I don't know what the details yet, but I'll let you know when I do.
Oh no.
I then reach out to them Monday, I think this week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, we're going to be down there. I'm going to propose I'm down there. She wants to do it. She wants family to be around if possible. That would be great.
Mhm.
And I'm like, let's collectively, let's figure out how we're going to make this happen.
Yeah.
2 days later, 3 days later, 3 days later, 2 days later. I think it was less than 48 hours. So 2 days later, I go to the dentist. I've been having some teeth trouble. I'm finally getting stuff cleaned, whatever, getting my life a little bit more on track than it was a week ago.
I respect it.
This is, so like I said, less than 48 hours later, and I get a text while I'm sitting in the waiting room. Michelle was on the phone with her mom and her sister, just chatting, whatever. I get out of the car, I hear her sister hang up, so it's just her and her mom. And I go inside, I sit down, I get a text from her mom, and her mom's like, "Hey, how about Sunday?" And me thinking nothing of it, I'm like, you know what? That works for me. I don't know the exact schedule of everything yet, but yeah, sure, why not?
Oh no.
Out loud, I find out moments later, or like 20 minutes later. Out loud, her mom at that moment says, "Hey, Charlie," Michelle's dad's name, Daniel's going to propose on Sunday when they're alone.
Oh my gosh. You're kidding me.
I don't find out about this right away. I get a text like 5 minutes later. I'm about to go in to go lay down on the chair. I get a text that says, "I messed up. I'm so sorry." And I took a moment, and for a moment, I was so angry because of course I am, right?
I think it's very reasonable to be very, at the
Upset.
very least, quite annoyed in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. I sit there and I take a solid minute, like, what did she do? What did she do? And then it like almost in this sense of calm comes over me, and I realize she said it out loud instead of muting her phone. She said it out loud.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm laying there for a solid. I have to lay there for a solid like 30 minutes while this dentist, cleans my teeth. I feel a little bad because I was really, nice to her last time, and I just didn't say much this time around. I was a little, not cold or anything, but my mind was elsewhere for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
To the dentist? Did you tell the dentist what happened?
No. I actually did think about it. I did think about it because I'm like, I just need to talk this through with somebody. I get out and I call up Michelle's mom. Michelle's mom is hysterical, not like the actual hysterical, not funny hysterical. And she's like, "I'm so sorry, I ruined everything." I'm like, "Listen, mistakes happen. Don't worry about it. I will get back to you later tonight, and I'll figure out what we're doing." I go out to the car, and Michelle goes, "Hey, did my mom talk to you?" And I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean? I don't know why she would say something like that. We go out, we get food, and the whole time we're out, we're going to get. We went out and grabbed just pick up from a diner because I was a little out of it for obvious reasons, and also the dentist stuff is a little exhausting anyway.
2:30.
I partied too hardy. I get home and as we're riding back, I'm like, I've gotten to the realization that what, it's all bullshit anyway. I'm doing it tonight. We're done. This is the third time around, and it's gotten changed every time. Fuck the plan. We're doing it live.
I can't believe you said that about the plan like that. Don't you respect the plan?
No, fuck the plan.
What's next? You don't even like The Cure?
No, I don't like Batman either. Fuck Batman.
No, that's fine.
Fucking like, and I text. There were what 4 or 5, maybe 6 people that knew what was that it was happening like within the next week, and I text all of them. I'm like, "Listen, guys, the timeline has changed. It's happening tonight. Wish me luck." And of course, she said yes, whatever. I get home, I managed to get to her before we sit down to eat, whatever. But
there you go.
I'm not mad, right? I'm not mad that her mom decided to be not like, I'm not mad at her about it. I'm really not.
Because honestly, it was a mistake.
Exactly. It'd be one thing if she was she was acting weird about it and Michelle figured it out. It'd be one thing if it was, she couldn't keep her mouth shut and just said it randomly, like in casual conversation.
Yeah, no, that's not unforgivable, but it's borderline unforgivable.
You know what? That's kind of where I'm at with it. I am kind of over it. I'm like, you know what? There was a sneaking suspicion. So throughout this process, I had asked her dad and her sister and her subtly about whether or not I should tell her mom when this was good, when I was planning on it, because we were worried that something like this would happen.
Oh my gosh.
All 3 of them said, "No, it'll be fine. I know she can be a little out of it sometimes, but she'll keep this secret." I'm like, you know what? Cool. Let's bring her in on it.
Amazing.
Smash cut. She could not, and I am so amused.
No, yeah, that's freaking great, dude.
What a story, right? Like at this point, I'm just like, what a fucking story to tell.
I just really like the Welsh is on the phone with Michelle. She's like, "Hey, by the way."
Yeah, basically, that's exactly what happened.
It's so good.
Harold, Antana's getting married. He's proposing on Tuesday.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh my
gosh,
that's very good
it's
though.
So good. It's so silly. Like I physically am just like, of course. Like it's just I'm at the of course that's what happened. It's so silly.
Honestly,
it's so ridiculous.
It's a really great story though. I like it a lot.
It's such a story, and like the fact that it took 5 months of like tomfoolery and ridiculousness before we got here is its own thing.
Oh yeah,
like I love it. I just love it.
It's just like a perfect storm of things that like just happen to come together in the best worst way.
Exactly, and it just was this whole ass adventure, just a whole ass adventure. So yeah. Your boy finally got that shit taken care of after almost 7 years.
I'm very happy for you. Like,
thank you.
Super freaking happy, dude.
I appreciate that. I am. Oh man, I'm just like it still doesn't feel real, you know?
Yeah, it hits like that for a hot minute.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it feels like, oh man, that'll be cool when I finally get around to doing that.
Mm-hmm. But instead, it has now happened.
Yeah,
I almost autopiloted to saying, "How does that feel?"
Yeah, what would that be like?
How does it feel? Do you have a like set time frame at all for when you are trying to get the broom jumped, if you will?
The what?
We were. I don't want to give any like solid dates on the podcast because I don't want to like put things out in the world that then people are going to check in on me with. But
day and time now.
What
day of the week is it?
Broad strokes, we have no fucking clue.
Okay, 4 p.m.
What about vague strokes?
At least a year. Minimum, bare fucking minimum a year, because like we're already doing we're already doing all the stuff that we would do.
Yeah,
like we're already living together,
sense,
and like the thing we're
it's
kind
really
of
just like a legal thing.
It's a legal thing, and like
not that it's not just a legal thing. It's more than that, but
no, but for us, like with the way we live, it's not going to change our lifestyle in any way. She has said that she wants to wait on getting a house until we're married, which I think is very fair.
Yeah, no, that one makes sense to me.
Exactly. So that's literally the only timeline we have. Anything other than that is fuck it, man. Who knows? Like, what is even time? You know,
time isn't real. Clocks are real.
That's true.
That's dumb, and I actually don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. I think that relative time and the idea of relative time is something that I get on a level of like you've thought of something and you're like, I'm gonna have to continue saying this. When you actually think about whether or not time is real, of course it's real because the measurements we use it with are real and our lifespans are finite. So by the way that we like interact with time on a daily basis, it becomes a real concept. Like the phone calls, like they're not real, but I mean, they are real because we do them every day, and there's not a physical process happening. I mean, there's like a whole like technology type thing, but we exist within time, and we make ourselves constrained by it because it's something that we are constrained by physically.
Actual question: how do you feel about the idea that absolutely nothing is real and it's all fucking bullshit anyway? That's not me being like, ooh, look at how enlightened I am. It's an actual like I've been a huge fan of
I think that's edge boy nihilism and needs to chill out.
Well, it's too escapist for me. Like, what do you do? So what? It doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any difference, and I think that's that's the point. Is that it doesn't matter.
The point is, you can say whatever you want if you use that same like argumentative logic of like nothing is real because how do we know anything is real? Like okay, so you're just gonna say like a really broad statement that by definition can't be proven to be real because you've put it within the confines of a system in which it can't be proven real. You're like, nothing is real. I know this because you can't prove to me that everything is real. You're like, okay.
It's fair.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's kind of like circular reasoning. Like, I don't know.
I think it's fair.
There's no point in even like making that kind of argument because you don't gain anything and there's nothing to be sought after it. You're only saying things for a broad stroke kind of reason.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree that there's nothing to be gained from it. I think like all nihilism, it all circles into the same argument of nothing matters, so you have to make your own fucking point. Like,
well, yeah, but like that argument in particular, like not that like the nothing matters, but the like everything being a simulation, like it doesn't.
It's all inside your own head.
Argument. Yeah, it's a pointless argument because you can't do anything.
That's fair.
One way or another.
I think it makes a
and you
valid.
Can't prove anything one way or another.
I think it makes a valid like thought experiment. Like I think it's something interesting to think about. But I would agree that people who hold to it as an actual like opinion are just doing it out of fucking spite and sass.
Yeah, like if people dwell on it a lot, like there's no reason to dwell on it because there's nothing to dwell on. There's no substance there outside of. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can back that. Yeah, I can back that in that context. That just like fuck it, man.
Yeah,
if it doesn't matter,
like
then it doesn't matter.
Far lost. Yeah, you're so far lost in the fact that it doesn't matter that you forget that it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Is that an exactly?
No.
Yes.
I'm with him on that. Like,
that was a sentence that I said.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I'm like kind of high off my mind on Benadryl because I'm currently in the midst of having some kind of allergic reaction or something. I don't know. It's whatever.
Like, who even cares?
I think it's objectively not whatever, but I do respect you for attempting to have it be whatever.
Allergies are just as real as time.
Dude, facts.
Don't say that like that's deep.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah, man. Jackson, listen, I'm here for high off his ass, Jackson.
Not that high.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just next time Noah we record in person, you got to bring your giant baby Yoda bong.
Okay.
That he has.
It's right next to me right now. I would show you, but you know how it is.
Well, there's no video this time. We can't prove it.
Dang, it's true.
Legally, after the last episode, Noah's not allowed to show us. He told us after last time he's gotten in too much trouble. He's not allowed to show us anything anymore.
It's true, dude.
Legally, he has to tell us if he has a baby Yoda bong.
I got fired from jobs I didn't even have.
That's true.
People reach out to you and said, "You're never going to work here."
Just in case you were considering a position here at NASA, don't.
Just stop.
You'll never work in this town again, kid.
You got a lot of pep, kid, but you got no moxie.
A lot of chutzpah, but you ain't got style.
Hey.
You're all moxie, no follow through. We can't have that kind of attitude in working for our company.
I was about to say
this-
that one just kind of ended up falling apart on me, but then Dan was like, nah, I'm going to drag this one. It's going to keep going.
Not only am I gonna drag it, but I'm gonna say Moxie again too. That was like the saving grace play. He's like, if I say Moxie again, it'll make me still sound like an old announcer.
I didn't have a okay. We got through moxie and chutzpah.
Yeah, it's true.
Like what else? Like
You got gall, kid.
we got guts. I didn't get gall. We got guts, moxie, and chutzpah. Like those are the.
I don't think gall is the right one to add to that one either.
Well, yeah, because gall is generally
Yeah,
a
gall,
negative
kid.
thing.
Hey,
The gall
you
of
lose
this
the
kid.
gall in this guy.
Yeah, the gall
The
of this
audacity.
kid.
Sometimes you bada bing, sometimes you bada boom.
As opposed to the audition.
Noah can say that he's Italian.
Yeah.
So guys, I have a friend who went to culinary school, and I feel like we should get him on the podcast to have like a food takes episode.
I would love that.
I'm not
I
against
just
it.
thought about that right
But
now.
I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look like such an idiot because I don't actually have any real food knowledge. I just have like
No, you'd be very
circumstantial food
surprised.
knowledge.
I watched the other day. I was at this man's house and we were drinking, and we just put a whole bunch of hot dogs in the microwave and then put them on tortillas. So he's not like he has a culinary arts degree, but he also knows that like sometimes microwave hot dog and tortilla with American cheese and homemade hot sauce is good.
I think that's true.
That is true.
That's being a true food connoisseur. When you can realize that there is that garbage ass, shitty ass, trash food can be just as good as like a fucking, top 5-star restaurant, one bite of fucking meat and one bite of fucking vegetable. That's when you're a true food connoisseur. Anything less than that, and you're a faker.
If you don't understand that you can microwave hot dog to be good, come on, man. Just wake up, sheeple. Microwave hot dogs.
Sometimes things that are more expensive are worse, and that goes for food too.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
true.
like that goes especially for food.
Maybe not.
I would say it's like no, because I feel like about 70% of the time, the more expensive, the better. Not by any means all the time, but like 60 to 70%. Because I've had fucking like $50, $60 steaks before, and like they're not the same as like a $20 steak from Walmart. They're just not. Like it doesn't matter how much.
$20 for a steak from Walmart.
No, it was.
Do they even have
Look at this
steaks that
guy.
expensive?
It was like a batch of like 4 of them.
Okay.
Oh, that's not a $20 steak then.
Well, but my point. I think my point stands.
I don't think it does.
No,
I didn't
know.
understand it, so I don't think it counts.
I usually, if I get these like tri-tips from Sam's Club. They're just like these big old like marinated things, and by the I get them, I mean my mom goes to Sam's Club and I'm like, hey, can you get me one of those? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah, I got
And
you,
they're
fam.
just like these big old like because I don't have a Sam's Club membership.
Mhm.
But they're just like these big old like marinated tri-tips, and they're incredible. They're phenomenal, and then I don't know why they're so good, but they're just so good.
Fair.
They just like crust them with peppercorns and they're just marinated. And it just goes hard.
Sounds freaking good.
That sounds actually really good. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys about my eating the meat with my old roommate whose parents had farms?
I don't know that you did.
I don't think you have.
So basically, whenever he would go back to Kansas, this is the upper roommate. Whenever he would go back to Kansas, he would come back with like a big old like styrofoam, like meat, the butcher's cooler, full of like meat from his dad's farm and his mom's farm because they were split and they each still had farms. And they did some different stuff. And so he would always bring back like a whole bunch of really great like meat, and we would cook it up and eat it. And it was great. But then there would also always be like some really sus cuts of meat.
Okay.
Like I've eaten more goat hearts than most people have in America. Which is to say at least a dozen.
That's about really a dozen more than I think I've ever eaten. Unless someone, hasn't been telling me everything.
Yeah, it's absolutely abhorrent, honestly.
Well, I don't know if that's good to hear or not, but I'm going to go with not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those, like, it's edible. And, like, you can cook it and eat it like any other, like, thing. But I would not recommend goat hearts to anyone. I've eaten goat brains as well. They fall in the same category of, like, yeah, you can eat that. You shouldn't.
Fair.
You just got to cook them with, like, sauce or stew them or marinate them in something. And you're like, this just tastes like straight up iron. And vermouth now. Great. Good cooking.
Yeah, that is a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, and the goat hearts they're not a terrible. No, they are. But if you like cook them for quite a while and you like simmer them in like vermouth for a little while, they become pretty good. Compared to them just boiled or cooked straight. They're just really irony. I mean, like you'd expect a heart to be because it's just bloodland. Yeah. So 10 out of 10. Eat goat hearts.
More you know.
But then like the actual like steaks and the actual meat that we would get was also very good. Like the ground lamb was always phenomenal. Like the lamb ribs and lamb chops. Those are my favorite.
Jackson's these days, all they do is eat goat brains and lie.
I don't think he said brains anywhere in there.
I did. No, I did.
He did?
Oh, my mistake.
Wow, Noah learned to listen. How about? Okay.
I don't know how
that was more of a like that was a one-time deal, and even my roommate was like, I don't normally eat these, and I was like, I really hope that's true.
Wow. Now, imagine being Noah and being like, yeah, but like, I'm just not going to listen to you.
Man, my apartment's too hot for me to be listening too heavily. It's so hot in here.
That's literally a you problem.
It literally isn't, though. I can't turn my AC on when I'm recording.
You can.
Because it's too loud.
No, it's too loud. It sits right behind me. It's just too much noise.
Have you considered getting a better place?
Yeah, I have.
The good place.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for asking. I don't know. You guys got anything else for right now?
I mean, that's a lot.
My talk hurt.
This week, these last 2 weeks have been really busy. Michelle and I have gone look at a bunch of apartments. Let's see. I start a new job next week. I'm out of town next week for South Carolina.
Nice.
Devolver Digital 2020 show came out, which is fucking exciting.
I was gonna say did they actually release that show entirely as a free game? Is that what happened?
It's even better. Okay, so Devolver Digital every year, I think for E3, I want to say, not PAX, E3, has done an amazing announcement thing. It's always so fucking funny. Last year it was like 5 minutes long. It was so short. It was like an hour lead up to literally like a 5-minute thing. But
it was 100% worth.
It was so fucking funny. The new one is 45 minutes long, and they have actual stuff going. Like if you've been watching their stuff for a couple of years, there's a plot line.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever actually watched like a game developer show before, like any of like the E3 conferences or anything like that.
I used to be a lot more into them than I am now. I used to have the time to watch them that I don't really have now. However, I honestly think that some of them, not all of them, but some of them are very, very worth watching.
I just like I couldn't imagine going back and watching them because the games are already out and like I watched a couple of Nintendo Directs, not in entirety though. Usually, one I did in entirety because I watched it because it was on while I was streaming, so I just like switched and started streaming it. But then like most of the time I'll just be like, someone will be like, hey man, did you hear about this new thing? And I'm like, nah. And then I go home and look it up and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I just like, because I'm interested in so few games, like I know that I'm not into 90% of it, and that 10% I am into, I'm really excited about. but I'd rather have like a friend who knows what I'm into tell me, and I'll be like, I will now look at this.
I think it's fair. I have one or two, I think it's literally two, companies that I will always watch whatever they put out. Supergiant Games, literally every game that they've made, as far as I'm concerned, it's just really good.
I know the name
Hades
Supergiant,
is one of the best roguelites of all time.
Who's Supergiant again?
Hades, Bastion, Transistor, and I'm forgetting their sports one. It's literally not a sports one.
That's good
stuff. It's a soccer like.
Yeah, like you throw a ball.
It's really fun.
Something ball.
The world is so fascinating. But yeah, Hades is phenomenal. Literally everything they've done is great. And Devolver, because their sense of humor about the industry as a whole Devolver. And everything they do is so cool. And they gave me a bunch of free shit when I went to them in PAX. Like, just the person at the thing was like, hey, you're buying one t-shirt. Let me give you 2 more t-shirts in different sizes and also just a bunch of swag.
You're kidding me.
No, not at all. I bought
that
like
bums
literally,
me out.
I think. Michelle, hold on 1 second. Michelle's behind me. Michelle, we spent what, like $20 at the Devolver store when we went to PAX, and they gave us like $100 worth of shit.
Yeah, we only spent about $25 because I said at the counter, "Oh, you're only allowed a t-shirt or the pins. You can't have both."
And then they not only did they give me an extra t-shirt, 2 extra t-shirts. They gave me.
You have a t-shirt, and you have a t-shirt, and you get a t-shirt,
and then also all the pins instead of just one of them. Yeah, it was great. They were amazing, and their booth.
They were so nice.
Their booth that year was phenomenal too. The Enter the Gungeon booth was super fucking cool. Devolver's just a great company. I think it's a really, really, really cool company, and I love everything they do. They don't get me wrong, they have had bad games. Like some of their because they're doing a lot of publishing as well as like development now. They have some not as good games, but they also do Shadow Warrior, which in my opinion is really fun, and a lot of other things. So I'm just a huge fan of Devolver.
Yeah, I am too. I only knew of them from Hotline Miami, but Hotline Miami introduced me to what for a very long time was one of my favorite genres of music. So like, I can't hate on that.
I feel that. Same. Actually, still same.
Yeah, I don't think it sits in my favorite slots anymore just because that's life.
There's a lot of garbage in it. I mean, like there is in every other musical genre, but it's hard to find the really good shit.
No, I think it's just more that like I realized that what I liked was pretty much strictly the Hotline soundtrack versus like actually enjoying the genre as a whole.
It's synthwave, right? That's the soundtrack, or that's
the dark synthwave stuff.
Dark synthwave, yeah. You and I almost went to go see what's his name?
Carpenter Brute
in person. I'm still sad we never got to do that.
I am very sad about that. That would have been a freaking bomb time. It was right in Philly.
I've talked about it before. I've never been to a concert ever. Full stop.
It surprises me every time I hear you say it, even though I know it's not gonna. It won't have changed.
No, well,
but it
Michelle
still
and I
surprises
talked about
me.
Michelle, I've talked to a couple of different people about it, and Michelle keeps trying to say, "Hey, what if we did this one?" Obviously, that's not an option right now, but in general, like I'm willing to go. I don't know, like both
that one just stings a little bit more because it's someone that you're like directly interested in.
Well, exactly, and like both the like club and concert scene just seems so alien to me. Like, and I know they're not the same by any means, but like they are both very heavily influenced by whatever music is playing, and like the feel of the place will be influenced by whatever music is playing, and they both seem so alien to to like a very introverted, like don't touch me kind of person. And they just feel, I don't know, claustrophobic and busy that I don't need. Like if I'm gonna go and listen to music, I'm gonna put my fucking studio grade headphones on, turn the music up to the point where I'm definitely not gonna hurt my ears, but oh boy would I like to, and like just fucking close my eyes and veg the fuck out. It's the kind of person I am when it comes to music. I'm not really the share it with all my friends kind of person. I also listen to so much weird shit that like it's not worth sharing with my friends because 90% of them don't share my musical interests.
Man, look at the special music boy.
Well, that's exactly. I hate saying that because I don't like feeling that way. But
it ends up making you sound super pretentious, even if you don't mean it to.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it also like
I get you.
I don't know, man. There's the pop stuff that I listen to because of Michelle, and then there's the alt rock stuff that I also listen to because of Michelle, and then there's everything else. Like dark synthwave isn't a popular genre. It just isn't.
It is not. It was actually some of the least popular stuff I ever played back in the kitchen. I don't know why, because it objectively was not the most abrasive music I played there. But
Because
for some reason, no one liked it nearly. Like, people actually objected to it versus like when I was playing like metal stuff, no one really seemed to mind that much. But by golly,
I feel so. Dark synthwave is a subset of just it's a subset of synthwave and retrowave. Or retrowave is a subset of synthwave, and then synthwave as a whole is a subset of electronic, right? Just electronica in general. Am I wrong on that?
Sure.
I feel like
electronic music is where my info really takes a dive. I don't know almost anything about that stuff.
That's I like a lot of electronic music. Even back when like dubstep was cool and then not cool to like, I was always a fan. EDM is interesting, and I'm not a huge fan of fucking glitch and house music, but I still think they can be in trance. I'm not a huge fan of, but I still think they can be interesting. But my point is, I think generally speaking, I would say electronic music is the least air quotes mainline musical genre. It's the least popular mainline musical genre, and I think that's part of the reason that people don't particularly like a lot of it.
I don't know that I can agree with that, but I get where you're coming from.
Okay, because I'm curious. Then, what would you think is
the least popular mainline genre?
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing with electronic stuff. People go to like, that is what gets played everywhere. You don't listen to it on its own, but that's what people like go to listen to.
Okay,
you know?
Fair enough.
I would say, oh geez,
I swear to God, if you say the word ska, you're banned from the podcast.
That's not a main musical genre. That is a fringe genre.
That, and you know that. I just want to make sure that you didn't say something evil.
I am being prejudiced against for my love of trumpets in my punk rock again. And I don't appreciate it.
Mostly it's the punk rock. The trumpets are just an add-on.
I think that's just a shitty thing to do, but go off.
I don't really hate punk rock. I don't know enough about the genre to have a take. I don't like ska, generally speaking, but I also
that's fine.
Only heard like maybe half a dozen ska songs, so like what the fuck do I know?
I think it's very reasonable for you to not like for you to not like ska, but I think it's unfair for you to shit on punk rock knowing that I know you don't really know a lot about it.
That's super fair. It's super fair. Ska's weird, dude. I'm sorry, ska's weird.
Ska.
It really isn't though. It's literally just
it feels weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you say it.
When you listen to it too.
Ska,
dude.
I'm very angry with both for the same joke.
I really fuzzed out there for a minute.
That's fair. We're just talking about music now, which is something that I do not have the fucking qualifications to talk about.
You guys like banjo in your music?
Sometimes
No.
Are we talking country or are we talking folk?
Talking folk punk.
Folk, I actually am not a huge fan of, but I do enjoy a good bit of folk. I don't know that folk.
I've been listening to a lot of folk punk lately. It's just good. It's just like Noah likes trumpets in his punk rock. I like banjo in mine.
I think there's nothing wrong with that. Unlike what Noah likes, which is wrong.
Noah, I like ska.
Thank you.
I don't know any ska.
I don't think have I listened. I genuinely am curious about folk punk though, because I don't think I've.
I mean, there's a lot of like pretty big bands, and then you got like obviously the Mountain Goats, Andrew Jackson Jihad is a big one.
I'm sorry, did you say Andrew Jackson Jihad as in like that is a single name? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's the name of the band.
Wild name.
Yeah, they're really good though. On Spotify, they're under AJJ.
Yeah, I can imagine why.
It's pretty funny.
Either. There's a whole bunch of others. There's one from Philadelphia called Mischief Brew that's actually really good. He passed away though, not that long ago.
Oh.
Well, like 3 years ago.
Oh.
But, yeah, he's from Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
He even has a song called "Oh Pennsyltucky."
Oh man.
No.
Man, I hate Pennsyltucky.
The idea or the song?
The idea.
Bad news, Noah.
No, that song's pretty
I don't know
good.
the song.
Hey, Noah, you know where you live?
Yeah, do you want to know why I hate Pennsyltucky, Dan? Come on now. I know where I live. I'm not an idiot.
The 3 Mile Islands.
Pennsyltucky's a garbage place for garbage people, and no one should ever stay there if they had the chance. That's not even.
I don't think that's true.
Erie,
I think that's an unfair take.
Erie itself is not Pennsyltucky.
No, I'm aware. I'm talking about Pennsyltucky. I don't think it is fair to say that it is a garbage place no one should ever be at, because it is just not for me as a country person, as someone who is not as huge a fan, you know?
Yeah, I genuinely think that like there's a lot of like narratives from people who are even like slightly suburban or urban, and you're just like, I'm a socialite of sorts. And they're like, I would never dance with an uncouth country bumpkin. And it just like widens the already like very existent like cultural gap between what is in the urban areas and what is outside of them in like the little middle like of the rural areas. And I think that it's also important to note that like a lot of the people in the very rural areas live in a form of poverty, and to
That's
just
true.
like
That was the say that
diminish
was
them
what I was
and be
gonna-
like they're
yeah.
holistically bad because they're poor.
No, I
is
agree with that. That's fair.
part of it. And a lot of the narrative about it is like, yeah, if they're like a racist asshole and they're in the middle of nowhere, yeah, that's terrible. That makes them a bad person.
Mm.
But I feel like a lot of the narrative is like, oh, they live in trailers. Well, now you're just disparaging someone because of their status, their financial status, and that's no good. I think that's like a lot of the narrative around like rural areas ends up boiling down to that.
I would agree, and I'm trying to say this in a way that isn't overtly classist, but I'm not sure how to. I'm very curious as to why it feels as though there is a higher concentration of trash people. And I mean
because
that
it's cheap.
like trashy white people, like doesn't matter.
It's
trash.
honestly just because it's cheap. You live far away from things that are convenient, and things are cheap.
Yeah, which means people are poor.
But poor and trashy are not the same thing, is what I'm saying. Like I'm curious because
They're not, but like what is considered trashy is often some things that are associated with being poor.
Fair enough.
There's like and the problem is then you see someone who's trashy and you say, that's a trashy person. They're poor. And then you're like, we will never give them opportunities to not be poor.
That's fair.
And we will hate them because they are poor. And then instead you start looking down at people who are in the same situation as the rest of us. I mean, we're all just like, selling our wages for money.
Exactly.
And you're looking down, you're like, yes, this is a poor fellow over there. But in reality, like you're like, I am not like him. And then you look around you and you're like, oh wait, maybe I'm exactly like him, but I live in an apartment building instead of a trailer. And I feel like that's like where the narrative lands a lot of times.
I think that's fair for where the narrative. I'm 50-50 because on one hand there is distinctly people who many people who are poor who are not trashy, and I've never understood
what is trashy to you. If someone is living in the rural area, what would make them trashy?
I think trashy comes from a lack of...
What are traits?
Well, I think it comes from a lack of like a visible lack of self, for what I would perceive as self-respect and self care in a way. Because I I knew people when I was growing up who were, 6 months pregnant and smoking and drinking every day, and that to me is very trashy.
That's trashy, and it's very like unsafe as well.
Exactly. And I think that it points to a lack of self. To me, it's lack of self-respect.
Yes and no, because there's also a lot of addiction involved in these kind of situations.
There is.
Like,
and that's
you can't
fair.
just look at it and be like, this is holistically bad, and this person's only made poor decisions. When in reality, being addicted to cigarettes is not a negative character trait.
You're putting me up on a straw man. I'm not saying that they're entirely bad. I'm not saying that literally all trash is garbage. I'm just saying that literally all trash is garbage. I'm just saying that I feel as though there is a tendency towards certain communities to be trashy, and I do not have a lot of patience for people who are trashy. I'm not saying that like...
So outside of a pregnant woman who's 6 months pregnant, smoking a cigarette and drinking, which I think most people will agree is bad, especially doctors. What is
9 out of
another
10 doctors
trait
agree
that you heavily associate with someone who is trashy in these situations? So I'm just trying to pin it down into an area.
No, that's fair, and I don't think I have a good answer because it's not something that I had I hadn't considered. It's one of many traits that you kind of point at someone and say, "Wow, that's trashy," and then you can point at someone else and say, "That's not trashy," and you have to. It's a culmination of so many things. It would be a sense of specifically. It's a lot of appearances. It's a lot of people not putting enough effort into the way they look and the way they act, and a lot of a lack of consideration for the people around them. Right? It's the kind of people, to me, the people who, and I have them here too, who shoot fireworks off at like 3 a.m. are whooping and drinking beer are trashy. People who are wearing, and I'm not counting people who are actively homeless or who actively don't have the finances for it, because there are people who I know who are neither and are still this way. People who are wearing clothes that they've been in for the last 2 weeks without, and they're stained and grungy but they have the resources to not be that way and are instead choosing to be that way out of a lack of self-care and self-respect and a lack of care and respect for the people around them, to at least put on the semblance that they respect the people around them enough to look like.
Is it respecting the people that are around them, or is it respecting the people that they don't associate with who would judge them from a distance?
I think it's both, because I think that there's a difference between not caring what people think about you and actively choosing to be a specific way out of spite, for lack of a better word. Like, and I get.
Is it wrong to be spiteful though?
I think it's not wrong to be spiteful. I think it is wrong to have other people be affected by your spite. Like, I've stood next to people who just stink. Like, they're just gross. They're just gross
and
people.
You think that there's more people who stink in rural areas than there are in cities?
That is not what I said. I think that there are more people who are trashy, and I think that there is I think there are more trashy people in rural areas than in cities. Not necessarily all. Believe me, I lived in fucking North Philly. I know what trash looks like in urban areas.
Again, I disagree. I don't know that there exists someone that I would say person is trashy. There are things that exist that I think this is unsafe or undangerous. But if you tell me there's a whole bunch of boys who are firing fireworks off in the middle of the country at 3 a.m. and drinking beers, whooping it, that's sick as hell. Like that makes me like, I don't think this is bad. I say this is fun, and I hope you guys have a good time.
Not yes and no, because I think that it's okay to do that if you are the only people being involved in it. It's not okay to drag other people into that.
But that's for the benefit of the rural areas. People live in areas where they can do that kind of thing and they don't affect other people around them.
But they still are affecting other people, though. Like, even when I was living in
the middle of the rural areas?
But okay, how rural are you talking? Because even if you're on a farm, which I practically grew up on, if the neighbor boys are shooting off fireworks at 3 a.m, that's still affecting me, my neighbor, and the next neighbor down in a negative way. And that's shitty. Like, it's one thing if you're going out
I feel like you end up getting the benefit, though, of people of like mind end up being together more, and people don't mind stuff like that as much. Because
and if they do, they'll probably just come be aggressive about it.
That's fair.
And that's like, I genuinely, like, I definitely was in the boat where I was like, this is uncouth. And then I started like hanging out with like punk people when I lived in Austin. I was like, hell yeah, let's just fucking like be nasty. And now I'm up here, I'm like, you can combine country and punk. This is ideal. And it's just like, to me, I think that there's nothing negative about it. Most all the things you listed off. Obviously, the first example of the pregnant woman smoking and drinking, that's bad. But, there's always there's reasons why people are in situations that they're in. And I feel like a lot of people will just like point at poor people and be like, poor people bad. Or even like moderate, like person could, they could go out and do these things, but then maybe they couldn't, pay for their rent, or maybe they couldn't pay for certain different like, amenities that they need to live, such as, having a cell phone, which is basically required. Because if you don't have a cell phone, good luck getting a job. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who just like give them shit for the way that they look, but I think a lot of the narrative. I don't want to stop saying the word narrative. I'm high as hell. But I think a lot of the problem is people being like, "Hey, these guys are trashy," and then also at the same time saying things like, "Nothing matters, so you might as well live the life in the way that makes you the most happy." It kind of comes back to that nihilist aspect where, like, if you're happy living your life, racing quads and drinking beers and wearing denim overalls, and like, that's exciting as hell to me. Even if you're uneducated and loud, like, there's nothing wrong with just, being uneducated and loud, because we all rot the same. As long as you're willing to learn, even a little bit.
I see where you're heading towards, but to me, part of that nihilism is nothing matters, so try to not be shitty. And to me, while there's nothing believe me, I fucking love riding a 4-wheeler. Like, I used to ride 4-wheelers when I was much younger.
Quads go brap.
Quads are fucking amazing. Motorbike or fucking dirt bikes are fucking amazing.
Dirt bikes.
Fucking
love dirt bikes.
Running around in the woods with your fucking gremlin fucking country bumpkin friends and like taking paintballs into the woods is a blast. Like, there's a value. Fucking bonfires. I haven't been to a bonfire in like 4 years. I fucking love bonfires. But I think that there's a aspect of to me, it's very much you can live your life as in whatever way you want. I'm not a fan of forcing other people to be involved in that life against their will. In the same way that I would never tell a country, like a guy in like in overalls who doesn't want to live in the big city, you have like fucking, I wouldn't tell, I I was about to say Noah, but that's not fair because I know he doesn't hate the big city like I do.
And I don't
Or like
wear
a lot of people
overalls.
do. And you don't wear overalls. Exactly. But I would never tell somebody who, like, I would never tell my little brother that he has to move to the big city. Like, that's just not something he wants.
Yeah, but I didn't think you said that, though.
But
you said that there's more trash people out in rural areas. I'm trying to get to the bottom of why that is.
I would like, I think that
the closest I've gotten is that people shoot off fireworks at 3 a.m. and that's inconvenient to the neighbors, which it is, but that's not a daily thing.
I mean,
that can't be happening.
It has been for a little bit here.
It has been every daily,
I agree, it's not a daily thing.
It is a week past the
it's been going on for like the last 2 months.
Fireworks are heavily associated with.
It's been going on since
where
like the beginning.
where you're at, or
literally where I'm
at. So then maybe that's not about the country, because I haven't heard it at all, and I live in the middle of nowhere.
That's fair. It's fair for me, for you to. It's fair to call me on why are there more trashy people in the country? Because I think that's true. I think you're right. I think that I associate it more heavily with the country, with the countryside, and like that culture.
And that's
you know what it is.
Like
you know what it is.
The framing.
I actually do know what it is. There's a country culture, right? That can more easily, in my opinion, with what my experience has been in that country culture, more easily overlap with trash than, for example, living in like in the burbs. You can have trashy people in the burbs, 100%. You can have trashy people in the inner city, 100%. I think country culture more easily interacts with what would be commonly considered trashy.
And I think a lot of it is because of the lack of materialism in country culture.
That is fair. I will give you that one.
I think a lot of it is
fair.
because, there's a lot less class antagonisms for your average country bumpkin, because they just, you maybe work on the farm, maybe work at like a tire shop, just doing, classic things that leave them in a position where they don't need to worry about the rat race. And a lot of country people aren't worried about the rat race, so people see that as like they're never trying to do anything at all, and you're like, well, they're trying to live their lives and they're having a grand old time.
That's fair. I think that is fair. I think that is the lack of materialism is super fair. I hadn't put it in that direction. That is I think a fair reason for it.
Yeah, because honestly, like personally, I hate the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
I hate apartment buildings more than anything. I hate cookie cutter houses so much. That's one of the things I really like about the country is people are just like, I'm gonna build a house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, me and the boys gonna contract some of them Amish fellows from down the street. We're gonna build a house, and like they just do that, and it's their house. It's not just like yes, my neighbor has the exact same layout. Oh, actually, his sunlight is in the dining room, whereas ours is in what is the foyer.
Thank you for saying foyer. By the way,
you're a monster.
I had to. But it's just like those bore me, and those are not exciting to me. But people, like so many people who have any level of materialism to them are like, that's the goal, that's it, I gotta have that.
Fuck that noise, fuck all that noise. Cookie cutter houses.
But you know that is a lot of people are very interested in that.
The white picket fence is for a lot of people still an American dream.
Yeah, and I like the American dream that's quad scope rap, me play banjo.
I get that.
I just think there's more to it. I feel like there's.
I don't agree that there's more to it. I think there's something different to it. Because I think in the same way that I can't say there's more to living in the inner city, I don't think it's fair to say there's more to living in the country than in the burbs. I think that they're just different goals.
Get behind it. Yeah, I can't get behind being like, I've got to continually try and move upwards and upwards until I can exploit as many people as possible in my way.
Yeah, that's. I think that right there is our fundamental difference. For me, I mean, not to like be over dramatic, but like there's no such thing as like an upper limit to what I want out of life. Like if I can just keep going up, fuck it, dude. Let's go.
Even if it makes you exploit those around you? And those especially under you?
Those around me.
That's required.
There's been that is a conversation I've had with a lot of people at a lot of different stages in my life. And the answer shifts depending on the person and depending on the day, genuinely. Like I would like to pretend like I would not be overly exploitative. I also know that I have
because I feel like if you're going to say that
you
might be, I think it's also important to note that if you're going to be on that side of the fence, you need to accept the fact that you earlier said that you shouldn't fire off fireworks because it's inconvenient to people around you.
That's
fair. Then you can't also say I would exploit people around me and especially under me.
That's fair. That's
because
a fair
that makes you. Yeah, and that's really that's an important contradiction there.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a standard you put yourself into. A local inconvenience versus a cultural inconvenience.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like the measure you use, so shall it be measured to you, and all that Hammurabi stuff.
No, that's fair. I think it's a fair call out.
Because it does
on jacksonstwitter.com.
And it does become easier as well when you do those kind of things, because when you move up and up and you start exploiting not necessarily the people around you, like I said earlier, but the people underneath you in the chain, a lot of times you can justify it if you have the mentality of, well, they're trashy or they're trash.
Mhm.
And then you get to the point where you're like, well, now I'm only exploiting trash.
I will
And so
say,
now you've got-
I want to make it
it's, you
very
know-
clear. I'm not like trashy people are not trash. There is a difference. I want to make that like in this public forum that this podcast is out on. I
Yes,
never
it is.
want to imply that somebody is anything less than a human being or anything like that. Like they are
Right.
people, absolutely. That trashy is a descriptive term for a term because there's not a better.
Yeah, it's a socially acceptable description.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I'm not saying that
acceptable,
they're
but it's
trash.
socially used.
I'm not saying they're trash.
Would you rather exploit a trashy person or someone you can conceive as classy?
Honestly, realistically, probably someone I conceive as classy. If I'm being 100%
I mean, yeah, me
honest,
too. I
'Cause
hate
fuck
classy
'em.
people.
Fuck them. Fucking
yeah.
put a suit on, and
That's a good
dude,
time.
I stopped caring about you. That's not true, but but also a little bit. It's true.
Me when I see someone get married.
Oof.
I'm just
Oof.
kidding.
All right, Noah, I got that news for
the
us,
irony
bud.
of like, put a suit on, and you guys are both like, yes, I will be putting a suit on. Obviously, nothing wrong with that. Like, it's literally like, suits look fresh as hell.
Yeah, man. Suits are great.
I don't know. I just want to. We should probably cut the pod.
This has been a long episode. It feels like it hasn't really. It's only been an hour.
It,
but
it feels like
long.
it has though.
It feels
Time's
super
moving
long.
real slow for me.
I feel that. But
I'm on that Benadryl.
Is time keep on slipping into the future?
I hate you.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I
Noah,
heard that song in a long
I'm sorry
time.
that you hate me. But
Yeah, I'm
also
sorry
get
that
over
Noah
it.
hates you.
I'm not. Noah deserves it. Noah deserves everything he's ever
Noah-
gotten.
He deserves to hate you.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
a
fair
weird
enough.
thing for me to deserve, but I
Just listen, man. Don't
You deserve to
hate
hate
the
me.
player. Hate the player.
You should be.
what?
All right. You.
Well, no, where can they find the podcast?
Already? I
It's
can't
an hour and 5
I
minutes.
can't believe that. Oh my gosh.
Turns out,
But you're
Noah,
saying time went by fast because time has gone by.
Well, we're
You
not
know,
we're not finding
it's a
we're
flat-
not
it's a
finding the
flat circle.
podcast yet. We got some things to talk about first.
oh, man,
firstly-
is this your way of telling us that you're about to edit out a lot of that conversation?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
We're keeping in your very incriminating "I'll step on the poor people."
No, not
Poor
step on the
people
poor people.
meaning
Step on the
the
people
poor
Where
people,
around
Dan
not
you.
said,
the-
"I'll step on the poor people." It was right in between Noah's massive Yoda bong rips. Noah went, and then Dan went, "I will absolutely step on the poor," and then Noah went. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's true.
Mhm.
It happened. I did have to edit that out because incriminating
No, I
weed.
really need you to put in a sick
Miley
bubble
Cyrus
sound
M&M.
effect of your bong.
Why would I put in a sound effect when I'm ripping off the bong right now?
That's fair. That's fair. It just isn't coming through on the Discord. Yeah, it only is showing up on your end.
Oh, my bad.
Discord's not ready.
Anyway, we got some shout outs this week. Hy didn't
shoot,
get his
it's
shout out in.
week.
So he's going to do his shout out next week, but Emma, Sam, and Cloud all have things to say.
What are they gonna
Emma
say?
says, "I love all of you."
Aw, thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
And thank you for your money, but also your love. Mostly your love, actually. I think I value your love more than your money.
That is a really
Wow, that's
weird
that's big.
tangent to
This
go
is
on,
growth.
dude. Not gonna lie.
Listen.
I feel like that should just be the base. Is just like,
I
Hey,
can,
look,
things can
it's been a
be
big
two-
day for Dan.
I can value two things at once, Noah. Okay? God.
all right.
Continue the shout outs.
Sam says, "Stay safe, wear a mask, Black Lives Matter."
Yeah. The official stance of the podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see.
I think so. I mean, I know so. Hopefully,
Dan,
otherwise I got some talking to do.
you're gonna say this one.
Okay. Gotta
Cloud
send it to me.
requested. Here we go.
God, this is actually really good. Let's see. So what it specifically says is finger gun noises. My finger gun noises are never. I never do the. Pew, pew, I just do.
I always go kerchow.
Kerchow also works.
Kerchoo.
I will accept pew pew just because it's very simple, very very basic.
I think it was supposed to just be the snapping.
Cool. Well, that's what I can do. Finger gun noises. Hydrate before you diarrhea. You big old wads of
I
depression.
think it's supposed to be dihydrate.
Dihydrate makes more sense. Hydrate before you dihydrate, you big old wads of depression. Thank you for 100+ episodes. Keep rolling that good podcast footage. Thank you, Hy.
I gotta say, I respect to death your ability to sight read and understand, actually read the typo rather than letting your brain autocorrect the typo.
It is not always worked in my favor.
I can't do that. I would have seen that word and I would have tripped up and died.
You mean dehydrated?
Anyway, you can find the podcast at if you want to have a shout out much like these, You can go to patreon.com/offtheair. We have bonus content that will have dropped a couple days ago now that was off the case bonus stuff. It's I don't know. It's
episode,
like,
dude, that was so fun.
It's like 8 minutes of me and Jackson workshopping the episode as we record.
Fair. I love it.
Man, if we ever do that again, we got to make sure we actually do it right.
If we ever do that again, we're gonna make an actual script. Like I just am gonna sit down like a month beforehand and write an actual fucking script for it. Is what's gonna happen.
Nope.
Sounds good to me. Anyway, yeah, patreon.com/offtheair. You can support us monetarily that way. If you'd like to support us not monetarily, then you can go and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you happen to listen. Just, let me know if you do it not on Apple Podcasts, because that's the only site I check, because it's the only one that I know I can get reviews on. But even if you don't listen on Apple Podcasts, please give us a review there, because that would be freaking awesome. You can also follow us on patreon.com @TheOffTheAir and facebook.com/OTA podcast. So that's all the podcast socials. Jackson, do you want to drop anything this week?
No.
Didn't think so. Dan, what do you want to drop?
I don't know. Oh, I started doing Total Warhammer again with Cap on Saturday, so that's been fun.
Nice.
It's actually been a blast. I started a Wander Song stream last week, and I am like itching to do it again. I just literally haven't been able to find the time, and it's driving me nuts.
I've heard very good things about Wander Song, including that you can sing the communist anthem in it.
Can you? Because that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What else did I do? Okay. This is the first time I'm announcing it publicly, but I'm not. It's not happening for a while, so don't get your hopes up. I have started work on getting some decent production value for a stream/video series. I'm going to do an hour of every game in my Steam library. All 963 of them, I think I have now. And that number is only going to grow. I spent all of Monday this week doing some basic JavaScript and HTML programming to get a randomizer built for it. That would also like display some stuff on the stream for it. Very excited. It's coming together super well. I just have a lot of work to go still.
Nice.
But I am hype doesn't even begin to cover it, dude. I'm so excited.
That is very exciting.
Fun.
It's going to be really cool. If I can get everything working the way I want it to, it's going to be very, 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 very cool. I don't know when that's going to happen. And you and I are still doing Terraria. Actually, the last 2 weeks we haven't, and this week we probably won't because I'm out of town. So,
fair enough.
So Terraria a week from today when this episode drops on Thursday.
All right. Did you actually? I don't think you actually said your socials.
Oh,
you plugged the event, but not the socials.
Do it, Jan. Don't say them. Join the dark side.
I don't know, man. Jackson,
don't say them.
I don't know, Jackson.
Don't say them. Do it.
So you can find me at Bubbadabad, BUBBADABAD. Because of my new work schedule, I'm not streaming on Thursdays for the time being. I gotta. I most likely have lost Thursdays. I'm gonna have to try and shuffle things around, see what I can do.
Wow, good to know I hate us.
I know, right? And by us, you actually just mean you, because you're the one specifically that I'm getting cut on for Thursday streams.
I mean, yes, basically.
But we'll figure something out here. But yeah, that's what I've got going on right now. Big good times, fun times. I don't know, dude. I ran out of things to say. I'm very tired. It's freaking hot in here. Have a good night or day or whatever time you're listening to the podcast. Bye.
Bye forever.